Taoiseach, Ireland has one of the most severe strains of cystic fibrosis in the world, and also has the highest incidence per head of population of CF in the world, 3 times the rate of the United States and the rest of the European Union. And in that context, Ireland should be to the forefront in terms of new technologies, new research and new strategies to deal with the condition. And a new groundbreaking drug has arrived on the market, Taoiseach. It's been approved by the Food and Drug Administration in the US as far back as July of this year, and by the European Union. It's called Orkambi. It's been described as a game changer in the treatment of cystic fibrosis. And it can lengthen life, and it will improve the quality of life, and reduces 40%, effect a 40% reduction in hospital admissions for CF patients. It would benefit about 60% of the patients in Ireland, as it's very effective for the most common CF gene alteration in Ireland, which is delta F508. So, Taoiseach, this is a dramatic, game-changing drug. And the response of our authorities, in terms of the health service plan and in terms of the government, is that no funding is to be made available in 2016 to provide for the provision of this drug to CF patients. And I would put it to you, Taoiseach, I mean, the HSE are clear that if the government wants to fund it, it will have to provide the HSE with additional money. And we note in the health service plan that the high-tech fund, there is no increase in it for 2016. And the plan talks about that is dependent on the HSE being able to contain new drug approvals. The whole emphasis is about containing, not looking for the opportunity here to dramatically change the quality of life of people with CF in this country. So the question to you is this, Taoiseach. Will you ensure and will you provide the necessary funding as a government to make sure that the 60% of CF patients in this country who would benefit from the application of Orkambi will be able to benefit from it during the course of the next few months? Thank you.
Taoiseach.
It's not about containment, Deputy Martin. The HSE service plan is submitted to the Minister and as presented by him to Cabinet is based on over 800 million extra, almost 13 billion going into the health service. That means that services will be maintained and 100 million has been left aside for new additional and targeted services. Now, you make the point that the cystic fibrosis drug, Orkambi, Evicatter and Lumphacaftor, is a new drug which has come on the market. The HSE has statutory responsibility for decisions on pricing of drugs and reimbursement of medical products under the Community Drug Scheme in accordance with the Health Act of 2013. Decisions on which medicines are reimbursed by the taxpayer are not political and are not ministerial decisions. They are made on objective, scientific and economic grounds by the HSE on the advice of the NCPE. This is a combination drug for the treatment of cystic fibrosis with 2 copies of a specific cystic fibrosis gene mutation. The drug was approved by the US Food and Drug Administration on the 2nd of July this year and by the European Medicines Agency just 3 weeks ago on the 19th of November 2015. Just a couple of weeks ago, on the 26th of November, Orkambi's manufacturer submitted a rapid review application to the National Centre for Pharmacoeconomics, and this rapid review represents the first step in a pricing and reimbursement application. As of Friday, December the 4th, the manufacturer had not submitted a full application for reimbursement to the HSE. However, based on pricing details in the rapid review file, the HSE would estimate that the reimbursement would cost approximately 90 million per year. And given the significant budget impact, the NCP is likely to require that a full technology assessment of the drug be carried out before making any recommendation on reimbursement to the HSE, as is the normal procedure. Obviously, the Department and the HSE have made significant improvements to the facilities for cystic fibrosis sufferers around the country, particularly in regard to isolation units, which adds greatly to their comfort and to their needs. But this is a matter that is now the process of an application which has some journey to travel.
Taoiseach, you are not being straight with the people on this. You're hiding behind the NCPE and you're hiding behind the HSE. Because the bottom line is, Taoiseach, that there is no provision for extra money for the high-tech drug screen next year, despite the rapidly escalating costs of treatments. And we acknowledge that. But there's no plan and there's no vision around this issue. And the HSE chief has said categorically last Sunday there's no money in the plan. The government has not provided any money, and the health service plan that the government has approved has not provided any money in 2016 for this drug. That is the reality, Taoiseach. And the health plan's policy, the health service plan's policy, is to contain any approvals. In other words, try and hold it back. Now, the FDA, Taoiseach, went through a very rapid process here because this drug is a game changer. It's an orphan drug in the United States and it's making a huge difference. And there's Gillian McNulty, who's a campaigner in Ireland, who was on the clinical trial and talks about that. And she says, within a few months, my body started changing. During my runs, I could breathe deeper. It's not something I can explain correctly because I don't think I've ever known what it's like to breathe properly. She said this in a letter which she has sent to about 30 senators and TDs. Having come off the clinical trial, she immediately sees the impact on her body and on her health as a result. And the CF Association of Ireland has written to the Minister outlining the benefits in terms of this drug.
Thank you.
It's the first drug, Taoiseach, to impact on the underlying cause of CF for 60% of the CF population in Ireland. It has shown a 40% reduction in the worsening of CF requiring hospital admissions, a sustained increase in lung function and a sustained increase in weight, a major issue. Now, the government should stop hiding behind the HSE on this, Taoiseach, and the NCPE and start having some vision and some plan about game-changing new technologies that are coming and will come into the future.
Taoiseach.
And the answer is not, Taoiseach, a nil additional provision in the high-tech budget for 2016.
Thank you, Deputy.
That is not the vision that is required to deal adequately with this and reduce the anxiety that CF patients now feel because of the statement that Tony O'Brien issued. He said, in all honesty, he was being honest. He said, I don't have the money. And under the health service plan, I will not have the money, and the government have to make a decision. Now, I'm asking you, Taoiseach, are you prepared, and is the government going to provide that money in 2016, yes or no?
Taoiseach, thank you.
Well, you haven't changed. The same old mantra. I want you to. Maybe you didn't hear me the last time, Deputy. What I said was that decisions on medicines that are reimbursed by the taxpayer are not political and are not ministerial. They're made on objective, scientific and economic grounds by the HSE on the advice of the NCP. Now, you're a great man, Deputy Martin, to talk about your vision.
Sorry, would you stay quiet, please? Thank you.
You're a great man to speak about vision. You set up the HSE.
You're playing politics with CF patients again.
Yes,
sorry.
and I'm not
fed up of your shadow.
Sorry, please.
You expect.
You did it 5 years ago.
You expect.
Slogan your way through health. You told untruths about it, and you're at it again now. Stick to the issue. And be a man and tell the people whether you're going to provide the money or not.
Some respect to that.
You can give it, but you can't take it. That's the point. Now, Deputy Martin, your vision, as espoused by your spokesman this morning on health,
hold on a minute. Will you allow the Taoiseach to reply?
was to have a situation where you can invest in health services. And yet you want to abolish water charges, you want to abolish property charges, you want to take back the taxes that the people are going to get back in January with the abolition of the USC.
Sorry, Deputy, would you please stay quiet?
And you expect me here, Deputy Martin, to engage in commercial negotiations about this very important drug. And you want to make political play about cystic fibrosis sufferers. Yes, you do. Because this is a matter. You can give it out. You can give it out, Deputy Martin, but you can't take it. You cannot take it. The point is, you expect commercial negotiations about this drug to take place in this House. You know from your experience, if you have any responsibility from the time you were in health, that these negotiations are conducted with the NCP, and you know that, but you don't want to admit it.
Thank you, Taoiseach. We're over time.
We're not hiding behind anybody here, Deputy Martin. This is a matter that is dealt with in a very particular way, and this application is in the process of going through the system.